We have all grown up in a very polished kind of an environment, what with films and television and all the various records and the various media being very polished. We have striven today to try and keep things as primordial as possible, to let you see our handprint everywhere, and to give you as close to a handcrafted celebration as is possible in metropolitan Los Angeles. So we have left out all of the spit and polish and kept just the natural necessities for form and grace and spirituality intact. We have handmade sun and a handmade moon and a handmade vision, handmade poems and songs and ourselves. So set aside your expectations for a polished television production and just enjoy a very hot, smoggy day and our coolness and our sense of delight of just being with you. And this is a large occasion for all of us. For myself, it was 1 year ago exactly today that I came out of a retirement that I thought was permanent and did my first lecture in 5 years. That lecture was entitled The Tao of Journeying, and I was surprised that after 5 years of not even paying attention or thinking of discursive expression or artistic excellence, that it actually had come across halfway decently. And one of the great joys of that occasion was to stand, I think, at this same piece of wood and to look up and to see down. And the first row of the audience last year at the Summer Solstice, one of the dearest orchids of human being that anyone will ever meet, my dear, dear chum, Theodore Sturgeon, he was sitting there smiling up at me. He'd driven with his wife all the way from San Diego just to be there. And I was overcome with the feeling that I had, after all, made a very selfish mistake in not sharing what had been given to me over many, many long years. I was one of those people who blessedly had always had people take their time with, and I simmered for over 20 years. In the university systems, but always in a sort of a special mode. I never had to have my wings clipped, and I never had to kowtow to the frozen forms of dead traditions. I was always given free rein, and consequently grew incessantly. And as one grows, of course, you realize that as you leave behind you something which in retrospect you view as a trail of growth, various chrysalises and shells and unneeded appendages, you come to understand that life is really a delightful process of moving along, and the most valuable treasures of all are those people that we share it with. And they are the living truth of our moments. So we're glad to be here today to celebrate the sun in our way. And our program has a loose form to enable us to be comfortable ourselves in performing improvisationally, and also for your enjoyment. We have a special song, Striving Towards the Sun, which was written for the occasion, and you will all, I expect by now, have copies for yourselves. And our program will begin and be punctuated and end with this song, Striving Towards the Sun. And we would hope that with the ongoing repetitions, in addition to punctuating our celebration, our ceremony, our ritual disposition towards the essential, that you would learn the words somewhat, so that at the end of our celebration we might together sing the song together. And we have the gracious preparations of dear hearts to share with you after the ending of it. So we'll have the song, Striving Towards the Sun. Then we'll have a poem, a long poem on the American Indian, the Blackfoot Sun Dance. Then we'll have the song again. Then we'll have an excerpt from Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. The bard is always with us in this language. Then we'll have the song again, and then Theodore will come up and work some magic with rhythm and words, vis-a-vis the meanings hidden in the songs and its motions. And then we'll end with the song, hopefully together.
The seed is sown of what we were, it lies in fertile ground, and all the rains of springtime chased have tried to hold it down. But what we are is earth's time tried, and what we have become now stands in witness of new growth that's striving towards the sun. For we are not the youths of spring, nor are we winter worn. Our lives are strong, our roots are deep, our fruit will be well formed. This is the summer of our lives, the summer of our lives, the summer of our dreams.
She is in braids and beaded dress, white hair and blowing like the snow, polka dot bandana flapping. She standing there in the February Chinook wind is our spirit grandmother, and we hark to her low voice. Grandfather, son, holy am I standing here, grandfather, son, holy to promise a sun dance. Winter clings to the prairie night. The cold burns off the land. Close by, chimney smoke and are small against the whiteness vast in the northern quiet. Grandfather, son, holy woman will I be, Wakan Tonka, in that rushing, bless me. They must seek for more than a startled mass of grandeur. Seek, not ask. Questions hold us to that shadow the answer to be, or that shadow's mate, the answer at last. No such triumph, better to be seeking, finding a growing pattern, the old way, wisdom, that would dissolve any answers, anyway. I vow at Sundance this summer solstice to seek in your ways and heal the heart's eye and clear the ear's air open to your sky. She lay on the open prairie, wind-flushed grasses bent due south, and the big sky spanned each horizon. Completely, she lay, looking up, intent. Those sky beings spread before her, feelings of uplift, soaring on the wind. Wings wide, she must a big bird be. This earth fell back, receding below. The soaring spanned to each horizon, and then that updraft floated free. Her heart leapt to sea, blue space all over. And there so high she saw a star in midday sun. A star, small and bright, hermetically guided light, cased in pure space, to mark the further zenith for her life. Those sky beings spread before her, feelings of uplift, soaring on the wind, wings wide, she an eagle flying free. The midday star never waved once, and as a double celestial sight, she saw the movement of earth in new view, each patterning double mark now. The earth's people pressed and pushed by confusion in the close-by places, but patterned in the sun's big season, and patterned more by star guide sight. Those sky beings spread before her, sinking in the updraft wind, wide her eyes, her vision too, wind free. And there so high, the blue sky space wrapped round her form as clothing from the vision, double pattern, triple vision, earth and sun and star, all three. A new home she had, one of sky blue space, with dusty stars doubled on the base, and eagles spread above the rose toward the midday star, crested on the teepee's tip. 100 willow sweat lodge, each shaft slender stripped clean, and each bent halfway together. Only the earth's horizon, like an unmoving bowstring, held their tension full. 100 willows bent halfway and flung with skins airtight over a fresh dug pit stuffed with rocks, hot and ready for the cool, complementing water drip and sweet grass strands. To purify by stream the hot and cold, brought to focus in sacred privacy, then scented by summer earth's bloom, the gentler sizzle behind the more insistent ladled one. Such sweet grass strands. The close of the flap of tan skins, the dip and drip of mountain stream, by bucket the pinched herbs sprinkled, prime and primeval together, and quiet drop by beaded drop, another chance for freshness. They gather in the forest to fell the tree chosen, after deliberation and search, after each has told a story of courage and proven bravery in public, to cut with sounding strokes a solid trunk the Sundance pole. A gathering of men in the forest, chosen to fell a tree. Their stories told, their cutting done, the tree, now log, fallen to Weir, to rush to trim and count coup upon their evergreen kin, who forked will hold each and all prayers. Loaded long upon a slow wagon, 4-horse drawn, the Sundance lodge pole to bravery chant is brought back to camp. About the time the women's societies end up. Then thatch they do, the saplings round and interlace until the shell is wove, and crowded peoples gather within the patterned thicket to raise the Sundance pole, to shout and cry and gunshot loud. But before the crowds there were lines, supplicant to the Holy Woman, bringing hopes and secret prayers, writ on parchment, placed deep within the fork at top, and accepted all they bunched together, were hoisted aloft. Cries and shouts and gunshots, hopes and prayers, and silent triumph, men and women and words there before the solstice sun. The languid stride of a full woman found, unpossessed of guile. She walks, smiling through the illusioned images of flat, ego-sighted men, smiling through to the women's tent in buckskin sway. Young woman, old woman met and talked and sat down together to costume and learn the inner smile without guile and dearer movements than individual charm and softer secrets still. In fours, she's told, in 4 days straight, as the camp moves each day closer to the place. True, for the 400 teepees to be placed. The Women's Society welcomes a new member with deft old hands, smudging colors sacred to the stories told by old voices to young ears, and feathers full and buckskin sway costume. Then 4 by 4, the Women's Society sways, 4 steps west and 4 steps south, and 4 by 4 around the rotation of sun and time and earth, with feather and blanket and chant and secrets softer still. This essence of earth and its essential loveliness, their measured full movement around each direction, before the shining, still fullness of the sun. Everyone fears the Horn Society. Their vigor, confirmed in 3s, is grandfather's spirit's own, and each elongated crook they staff-like hold confirms in spiral twine powers within power spine. Young man, old chief met, and talking hushed. The Old Dog Society welcomes a new member with headdresses and dozens of feathers arranged by 3s and 6s and 4s and such. And hush, the Men's Society in 3s prepares to move, to dance in celebration of the sun. The horns, the old dogs, and then the prairie chickens do. The sun's need is not its own, its shining pure depends upon nothing. But our response is all, and all of it rotates in time and radiates in space, based upon the place we keep within for such constancy. And so to sacrifice with the pomp and play of costume and circumstance, a certain stance we share through all time and every space, the deep stillness that moment within moment holds to presence itself. So the essence of sky and its essential loveliness, the measured full movement around each direction before the shining, still fullness of the summer solstice. Sundance drums, a welter of people, many old warriors grim, one young man skewered, eagle bone whistle gagged, only that high mysterious cry allowed to form before the drums. Two umbrella lines drawn down from the cluster of prayers, forked above and doubled down to someone alone now. Eagle bone, shrill, plaintive, toot, alone now with what courage really is in the stillness itself. Pass out the dried buffalo tongues, cut and portioned communion. Walk on Tonka will speak now to man and to his courage to be. Eagle flit as shadowed image wrought within the eye's dark center, humming, hoping for the visionary company. Distribution of the gifts, the tongues and drums and dusty crowds, and one person alone to pull free. Tug and whistle, drum and dance, and tug again, the taunt lines, the one skewered free stays, and so too the pain, the dizzy chant, the dried tongues ache, and in that dusty silence no one speaks as tug and pull and yank, shrill whistle and tug and pull, pain, the pause, shrill and dusty, sun pole, forked prayer, nest, high, umbilical drawn down to man, to pure courage, to be freed before the sun, pull and pain, pause, breathless, the effort pulled free, and was quieted, and was laid down to have a dream, by hands and hearts old with that wisdom. Covered now with sacred symboled words, our ceremonial chant is filled, feeling space, and thinking time has been curled up full. The sun will set on this 8th day Sundance, and before setting sun and rising moon, we hear the spirits of Mad Wolf and Running Rabbit whispering to us, "Hear, my children, for we speak to you with good hearts. It is well to assemble every summer around the sun lodge, breathing together our medicine pipe song, and so singing together the rising smoke meanings carry off all meanness, carry them away. Many have given presents to the sun dancing, and some have fulfilled their secret, sacred vows. The old people have fasted and prayed, and while whole within their hearts, the young men have listened to wise counsels of the chiefs. The young girls have seen the medicine woman chosen to fast and pray because their lives are pure and their hearts kind fulfilled towards everyone. The great sun grandfather, spirit, gives budding power to all grasses and grasses green, for four-legged and two-legged and all winged. The good hearts now grow. The grandfather loves deeply. What we speak, we feel. Farewell, farewell. To all, to all. Farewell, fare you well. Next year again. Thank you very much.
The seed is But we are not the youth of spring, nor are we winter worn. Our minds are strong, our roots are deep, our fruit will be well born. This is the summer of our lives, the summer of our lives, the summer of our dreams. Today we celebrate three phenomena: the solstice, the full of the moon, and Sunday. We have the son of the sun, and we have meditated upon the solstice. Let us turn our attention now to the midsummer moon. Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Moon was a new moon, rather than the full moon we see here. She is described by Hippolyta and Theseus as they begin the play A Midsummer Night's Dream. Now, fair Hippolyta, our nuptial hour draws on apace. 4 happy days bring in another moon. But oh, methinks how slow this old moon wanes. She lingers my desires like to a stepdame or a dowager, long withering out a young man's revenue. 4 happy days will seep themselves in night. 4 nights will quickly dream away the time, and then the moon, like to a silver bow new bent in heaven, shall behold the night of our solemnities. Go, Philostrates, stir up the Athenian youth to merriments, a work that pert in nimble spirits of mirth. Turn melancholy forth to funerals. The pale companion is not for our pomp. Hippolyta, I wooed thee with my sword, and won thy love doing thee injuries. But I will wed thee in another key, with pomp, with triumph, and with reveling. Theseus, the Duke of Athens, prepares thus to celebrate his marriage to Hippolyta with dramatic entertainment. The affairs of 4 other lovers are in complete confusion. Helena loves Demetrius. Demetrius loves Hermia. Hermia and Lysander love each other. But Aegeus, Hermia's father, opposes their marriage. He wants his daughter to marry Demetrius. Now, Hermia and Lysander plot to leave Athens, but they make the mistake of revealing their plans to Helena. Helena tells Demetrius, and then the trouble really begins. Meanwhile, at Peter Quince's house, certain tradesmen of Athens, who have been chosen to give a play at the wedding of Theseus and Hippolyta, are assigned their parts to this play within a play. A play based upon the pursuit of Thisbe by one lover, Pyrrhus, to be played out under the light of moon. A third group impose themselves upon the scene, the fairies. Now, there has been a quarrel between Oberon and Titania, the king and queen of the fairies. And all nature, moon included, is affected by their quarreling. Here come the fairies. How now, spirit? Whither wander you? Over hill, over dale, through a bush, through a briar, over park, over pale, through a flood, through a fire, I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon is sphere. And I serve the fairy queen, to dew her orbs upon the green. The cowslips tall, her pensioners be, in their gold coats, spots you see. Those be rubies, fairy favors. In those freckles live their savors. I must go seek some dewdrops here, and hang a pearl in every cowslip's here. Farewell, thou lob of spirits, I'll be gone. The queen and all her elves come here anon. The king doth keep his revels here tonight. Take heed the queen come not within his sight, for Oberon is passing fell and wrath, because that she as her attendant hath a lovely boy, stolen from an Indian king. She never had so sweet a changeling. And jealous Oberon would have the child, knight of his train to trace the forests wild, but she perforce withholds the loved boy, crowns him with flowers, and makes him all her joy. And now they never meet in grove or green, by fountain clear or spangled starlight sheen, but they do square, that all their elves do for fear creep into acorn cups and hide them there. Either I mistake your shape and making quite, or else you are that shrewd and knavish sprite called Robin Goodfellow. Are not you he that frightens the maidens of the villagery, skim milk and sometimes labor in the quern, and bootless makes the breathless housewife turn, and sometimes makes the drink to bear no barm, misleads night wanderers laughing at their harm? Those that hobgoblin call you, and sweet Puck, you do their work and they shall have good luck. Are not you he? Thou speakest aright. I am that merry wanderer of the night. I jest to Oberon, and make him smile when a fat and bean-fed horse beguile, neighing in likeness of a filly fool. And sometimes hide I in a gossip's bowl, and in the very likeness of a roasted crab, and when she drinks, against her lips I bob, and on her with a dewlap pour the ale. The wisest aunt telling the saddest tale, sometime for a 3-foot stool mistaketh me. Then slip I from her bum, down topples she, and Taylor cries and falls into a cough. Then the whole choir hold their hips and laugh, and waxen in their mirth and knees, and swear a merrier hour there's never wasted there. But Room Fairy, here comes Oberon, and here my mistress, would that he were gone. Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania. What? Tell us, Oberon. Fairy, skip hence, I have forsworn his bed and company. Tarry, rash wanton, am not I thy lord? Then I must be thy lady. But I know when thou hast stolen away from fairyland, and in the shape of Corin sat all day, playing on pipes of corn, and versing love to amorous Phillida. Why art thou here, come from the farthest steep of India, but that forsooth the bouncing Amazon, your buskin mistress and your warrior love to Theseus must be wedded? And you come to give their bed joy and prosperity? How canst thou thus for shame, Titania, glance at my credit with Hippolyta, knowing I know thy love to Theseus? Didst not thou lead him through the glimmering night from Perigenia, whom he ravished, and make him with her Ago break his faith with Ariadne and Antiopa? These are the forgeries of jealousy, and never since the middle summer spring met we on hill, in dale, forest, or mead, by paved fountain, or by rushy brook, or in the beached margin of the sea, to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind, but with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport. Therefore the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which falling in the land have every pelting river made so proud that they have overborne their continents. The ox has therefore stretched his yoke in vain, the plowman lost his sweat, and the green corn hath rotted ere his youth attained a beard. The crows are fatted in the fold stands empty in the drowned field, and the foes are fatted with the Murian flock. The 9 men's morris is filled up with mud, and the quaint mazes in the wanton green for lack of tread are undistinguishable. The human mortals want their winter here. No night is now with him or carol blessed. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air that rheumatic diseases do abound. And thorough this distemperature, we see the seasons alter. Hoary-headed frosts fall in the fresh lap of the crimson rose, and on old Hyam's thin and icy crown, an odorous chaplet of sweet summer buds is as in mockery set. The spring, the summer, the chilling autumn, angry winter change their wonted liveries, and the mazed world, by their increase, now knows not which is which. And this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and original. Do you amend it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon? I do but beg a little changeling boy to be my henchman. Set your heart at rest. The fairyland buys not the boy of me. His mother was a votaress of my order, and in the spiced Indian air by night, full often hath she gossiped by my side, and sat with me on Neptune's yellow sands, marking the embarked traders on the flood. When we have laughed to see the sails conceive, and grow big-bellied with a wanton wind, would she, with pretty and with swimming gait following, her womb then rich with my young squire, would imitate and sail upon the land to fetch me trifles, and return again as from a voyage rich with merchandise. She being mortal of that boy did die, And for her sake do I rear up her boy, and for her sake I will not part with him. How long within this wood intend you stay? Perchance till after Theseus' wedding day. If you will patiently dance in our round, and see our moonlight revels, go with us. If not, shun me, and I will spare your haunts. Give me that boy, and I will go with thee. Not for thy fairy kingdom. Fairies away. We shall chide downright if I longer stay. Well, go thy way. Thou shalt not from this grove till I torment thee for this injury. My gentle Puck, come hither. Thou rememberest, since once I sat upon a promontory and heard a mermaid on a dolphin's back, uttering such dulcet and harmonious breath that a rude sea grew civil at her song, and certain stars shot madly from their spheres to hear the sea maid's music? I remember. That very time I saw, but thou couldst not, flying between the cold moon and the earth, Cupid, all armed. A certain aim he took at a fair vestal throned by the west, and loosed his love shaft smartly from his bow that it should pierce 100,000 hearts. But I might see young Cupid's fiery shaft quenched in the chaste beams of the watery moon, and the imperial votaress passed on in maiden meditation, fancy-free. Yet marked I where the bolt of Cupid fell. It fell upon a little western flower, before milk white, now purple with love's wound. The maidens call it love in idleness. Fetch me that flower, the herb I showed thee once. The juice of it on sleeping eyelids laid will make or man or woman madly dote upon the next live creature that it sees. Fetch me this herb, and be thou here again ere the Leviathan can swim a league. I'll put a girdle around the earth in 40 minutes. Having once this juice, I watch Titania while she is asleep, and drop the liquor of it in her eyes. The next thing then she waking looks upon, be it on lion, bear, wolf, or bull, on meddling monkey, or on busy ape, she shall pursue it with a soul of love. And ere I take this charm from off her sight, as I can take it with another herb, I'll make her render up her page to me. But who comes here? I am invisible. I will overhear their conflict. Demetrius and Helena, following Lysander and Hermia in their escape, appear. Now Oberon overhears their quarreling, and there's the promise of confusion when Oberon commands Puck to place the juice of the love flower upon the eyes of Demetrius. Now the complications of the love stories advance rapidly. Oberon places the love juice on the sleeping eyes of Titania. Puck mistakes Lysander for Demetrius, with the result that Lysander awakes to fall in love with Helena. Puck completes his errand, entangles the tradesmen in their play with the sleeping Titania, and returns to Oberon. I wonder if Titania be awaked, then what it was that next came in her eye which she must dote on in extremity. Here comes my messenger. How now, mad spirit? What night rule now about this haunted grove? My mistress with a monster is in love. Near to her close and consecrated bower, when she was in her dull and sleeping hour, a crew of patches, rude mechanicals that worked for bread upon Athenian stalls, were met together to rehearse a play intended for great Theseus' nuptial day. The shallowest, thick skin of that barren sort who presented in their sports forsook his scene and entered in a break. When I did him at this advantage take, an ass's knoll I fix it on his head. Anon his beam must be answered, and forth my mimic comes. When they him spy, as wild geese that the creeping fowler eye, rising and cawing at the gun's report, sever themselves and madly sweep the sky, so at his side away his fellows fly. And at our stamp, here o'er and o'er one falls, he murder cries, help from Athens calls. Their sense thus weak, and their fears thus strong, made senseless things begin to do them wrong. For briars and thorn at their apparel snatch, some sleeves, some hats, from yielders all things catch. I led them on in this distracted fear, and left sweet Pyramus translated there. When in a moment so it came to pass, Titania waked, and straightway loved an ass. This falls out better than I could devise. But hast thou yet latched the Athenian's eyes with the love juice, as I did bid thee so? I took him sleeping, that is finished too, and the Athenian woman by his side, that when he waked, of force she must be eyed. Stand close. This is the same Athenian. This is the woman, but not this the man. What hast thou done? Thou hast mistaken quite and laid the love juice on some true love sight. Of thy misprison must perforce ensue some true love turned, and not a false turn true. Then Phaedor rules that one man holding troth 1,000,000 fail, confounding oaths on oaths. About the wood go swifter than the wind, and Helena of Athens look thou find. All fancy sick she is, and pale of cheer, with sighs of love that cost the fresh blood dear. By some illusion see thou bring her here. I'll charm his eyes against she do appear. I go, look how I go, swifter than the arrow from the archer's bow. Flower of this purple dye, hit with Cupid's archery, sink in the apple of his eye. When he does his love espy, let her shine as gloriously as the Venus of the sky. When thou wakest, if she be by, beg of her for remedy. Captain of our fairy band, Helena is here at hand. And the youth mistook by me, pleading for a lover's fee. Shall we their fond pageant see?
Lord, what fools these mortals be. Stand aside. The noise they make will cause Demetrius to wake. Then will two at once woo one. That must needs be sport alone. And those things do best please me that befall preposterously. Now, both Demetrius and Lysander love Helena instead of Hermia. The peak of confusion is reached as the perplexed lovers fall into chiding and rebukes. Needless to say, Robin Goodfellow is amused. Puck, this is thy negligence. Still thou mistakest. Or else thou committest thy knaveries willfully. Believe me, King of Shadows, I mistook. Did not you tell me I should know the man by the Athenian garments he had on? And so far blameless proves my enterprise that I have anointed an Athenian's eyes. And so far am I glad it so did sort, as this their jangling I esteem a sport. Thou seest these lovers seek a place to fight. Hie, therefore, Robin, overcast the night. The starry welkin cover thou anon with dripping fog as black as Archeron, and lead these testy rivals so astray as one come not within another's way. Like to Lysander sometime frame thy tongue, and then stir Demetrius up with bitter wrong, and sometimes rail thou like Demetrius. And from each other look thou lead them thus, till o'er their brows death counterfeiting sleep, with leaden legs and batty wings doth creep. Then crush this herb into Lysander's eye, whose liquor hath this virtuous property to take from thence all error with his might, and make his eyeballs roll with wonted sight. When next they wake, all this derision shall seem a dream and fruitless vision, and back to Athens shall the lovers wend, with league whose date till death shall never end. Whiles I in this affair do thee employ, I will to my king and beg her Indian boy, and then I will her charmed eye release from monster view, and all things shall be peace. My fairy lord, this must be done with haste, for night's swift dragons cut the clouds full fast, and yonder shines Aurora's harbinger, at whose approach ghosts wandering here and there troop home to churchyards. Damned spirits all that in crossways and floods have burial already to their wormy beds have gone, for fear lest day should look their shames upon. They willfully exile themselves from light, and must for aye consort with black-browed night. But we are spirits of another sort. I with the morning's love have oft made sport, and like a forester the groves may tread, even till the eastern gate, all fiery red opening on Neptune with fair blessed beams, turns into yellow gold his salt green streams. But notwithstanding haste, make no delay. We may effect this business yet our day. Up and down, I will lead them up and down. I am feared in field and town. Goblin, lead them up and down. All right, now, it's time for the complications to unravel. Oberon relieves Titania from her strange love for an ass. The fairy king and queen are reunited. The antidote on Lysander's eyes takes effect, and the mortal lovers can readjust their differences. Aegis, when Theseus urges him, and when Demetrius drops his suit of Hermia, consents to the marriage of Hermia and Lysander. And Bottom, the tradesman turned for a night into an ass, recovers from his astounding dream. It is Midsummer's Day, and the day of Theseus and Hippolyta's wedding. And with the play within a play, our play is ended. Night descends. 'Tis almost fairy time. The lovers depart, and the fairies return to bless the house. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear, and all this weak and idle theme, no more yielding, but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest puck, if we have unearned luck now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long, else the puck a liar call. So good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. As we sing the song this time, will you start to hum along and sing along as you choose to, so we can learn it by the time we finish our program? The seed is sown of what we were, is life in fertile ground, and all the rains of springtime day have tried to hold it down. But what we are is earth time tried, and what we have become. Now standing witness of new growth, that's striving toward the sun. For we are not the youth of spring, nor are we winter worn. Our lives are strong, our roots are deep, our fruit will be well formed. This is the summer of our lives, the summer of our love, the summer of our dreams.
I think I'll share with you how this thing came about. I didn't ask anybody permission to do this. Roger called me up and said, it's going to be a Sunday and the solstice and a full moon all around the same time. And I'd like to celebrate that. I thought I'd have a little thing at the Philosophical Institute. And I thought, that's beautiful, that's a great idea. And you know what? He's on the phone right now. Jane's sitting next to me. I said, you know what? Jane's going to compose a song and perform it for you at that festival. Jane said, I'm going to phone. It was a dirty trick. But what you see, you're happy because there are a number of dirty tricks I performed in my life that I've had to apologize for. This is not one of them. I've been fascinated all my life by words. Not only what words are, but how they feel, how they sound, how they feel in their mouth, how they strike the stomach sometimes. Words are shapely. You can hear sometimes words in another language, or the way people speak in another language. If you ever hear French poetry well enunciated, the accents always come to the last line. And there's a beautiful effect of little rise, little rise. Both spellbinding. English is a very different matter altogether. I had a strange experience. It was very much of a profound trance situation. And I was talking in Blue Street. You know those little books that you can get for children, that a book is shaped like a rabbit or it's shaped like a bear? You've seen these little books, they're cut that way. And each page you turn in that book is the shape of the rabbit or the shape of the bear, no matter what's on the page. Usually what's on the page bears on the subject of bear or rabbit. But each page you turn is the shape of that particular animal. And in this particular strange trance-like situation I was in, every word I spoke was the shape of that word, and was a book which contained many leaves. And as I spoke, I felt I had access to every one of those pages. This is probably the reason I make so many bad puns. Somebody said something to me just this afternoon that was irrelevant, and my immediate reaction is irrelevant never forgets. But it just happened. Well, you can imagine the condition of my head if I didn't let these things out. I have solemnly sworn to release only 1 in 12 that I think of. I don't like to. And David Gerald, he knows me. When I saw this extraordinary song, Jane constantly surprises me in so many different ways. When I saw the lyrics of the song, I not only saw the words, but I felt the feeling of them. Words have their own sounds, like Roger Weir. And he goes walking to his bookstore. You really do. I hear you with my mind's eye. This is bookstore. Jane's maiden name is Jane Tannehill. That's who she is. As she crosses the room, or I see her from afar, I hear her. I saw her poem, her song lyric, as a book. And a book had chapters, and each line, or each phrase in the book, sometimes 2 lines, were a chapter in the book. So I decided to write the book. And so I read it to you. Just picking up on the rhythms. Chapter 1 is called, The Seed is Sown of What We Were. We were monkeys, all covered with fur, and grunting and snarling and grooming for fleas, and light came upon us, and then a great deal, and looked about us, ourselves, and our world. Chapter 1. Chapter 2 is called, It Lies in Fertile Ground. It's the way of the world and the rise of the myth that the birthplace is humble and plain. And a seed's not a tree, and a child's not a man, and all things do recycle again. tree is called, and all the rains of springtime change have tried to hold it down. The grass that splits the concrete slab, the fig that tears out stones, the growth unconquered in the sea, all made for God's throne. That's all of it in iambics. I am what I am, and that's all I am. Chapter 4 is called, But What We Are is Earth Untried. Tried in the crucible, crushed with the diamond, weighed with the weight of the water of seas, torn by tornadoes and hustled by hurricanes, burnished by fire and freeze. Chapter 5 is called, And What We Have Become, now stands in witness of new growth. New growth to what? New growth to where? New growth in sinew. New growth in bone. No more. No more in arm, no more in hand, no more in muscle or eye. The growth is in solstice, completion, and balance and vision, and flowering mind. Chapter 6 is called That Striving Toward the Sun. And that's what it is, and that's why you're here, and that's why we celebrate, and that's what is clear. For Earth is our stance, the sky is our aim, the sun is our dream, our destiny flames. Chapter 7 is called For We Are Not the Youths of Spring, nor are we winter worn. We are old, we are young, we are all our dead yesterdays, all our new happenstance, all that we cause. Arrogance, rightly so, richly deserved, standing on ancestral shoulders and lifting our young to the stars. Chapter 8 is called Our Lives Are Strong, Our Roots Are Deep, Our Fruit Will Be Well Formed. Here then we stand with the magic among us, aware of the summer of life all around us. So look to yourself as you look to your loves in the clear light of summer, the knowledge of self. Unmodified knowledge of species of mind acknowledges you and the glory you are. Chapter 9 is called, This is the Summer of Our Lives, the Summer of Our Loves, the Summer of Our Dreams, of our lives, all our lives since we crawled from the sea, of our loves, all our loves, of the flesh, of the heart, of the mind, of the soul, of our dreams, all our dreams, from the slime to the universe, all that we are and ever will be. Now, sing.
You got one more chance. The sea is all of what we were, in light, in purple ground, and all the rains of springtime came and tried to hold it down. But what we are
ever so much for helping us to celebrate the wondrousness of the great cycle and circle of nature. And we invite you to please stay and participate in the bountiful goodies that have been brought here. And we have lemonade, I think, and some kind of a little Hawaiian punch called Tutti Frutti, which I'm particularly interested in. Please stay and enjoy. Thank you again.